Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be the first war of Season 60. It's kind of crazy we've gotten to 60 seasons already, but yes. And we're going to actually have the debut of a new rank 4 in this video, and it's a rank 4 you've kind of already seen, because on my alt account, I've had Hood at rank 4 for a while. However, when I had a rank 4 to do, because I had 2 rank 4s in the off season for my main account. One I did for defense, and there wasn't another defender that we needed at R4. We had all that we needed. So I was going to go with either a prestige option or a attack option for war, because war is the only game mode I care about, so I wouldn't do a BG's rank up. And the only 2 champions that would actually affect my prestige are Hood and Deathless Thanos. And when I looked at how many Hoods we had less Hoods than we had Deathless Thanoses. So I thought it was probably the better choice for both the Alliance, the BG, and as well as for me to do Hood to rank 4 on my main as well. So now I have 2 rank 4 Sig 200 Hoods, which is really cool. And also, that allows me to do a better job of managing my PS1 boosts, because towards the end of every season, I always run out of PS1 boosts on my alt account for all the Hoods I have to do, because for some reason, I seem to have to fight Dark Phoenix on Node 9 like every other war at the end of the season. The back half, I have to do it like 4 times. It's so annoying. This is the only Hood fight in this war for my main account, because I just needed someone to take the Sentinel, so it was kind of perfect. But I do have 6 Hood fights on my alt account coming. But yeah, that was the R4 that I did. The rank 4 I did for defense was Red Skull on my main, and then the rank 4 I did for defense on my alt was Cersei. So, and then I also did another R4 on my alt, but I'm not going to show you what that is quite yet, because it may come into play at some point. But yeah, we have this Nick Fury, rank 4 Nick Fury on heavy hitter. It's a fight I've done a bunch of times, just to have to hope for some good AI that doesn't spam heavies all the time and doesn't throw the special one too often. And you know, if he does throw the special one, sometimes it's okay, but we would prefer to not always have him throwing special ones. And then here we are just going to keep going for intercepts, and because he is unblockable there, he is not going to throw his special one, so you can safely go for a light intercept. I think you would still have the time to get out of the way of the first hit, but we don't need to, obviously. Gonna throw my L2 here. I did a couple hits of the Striker just so this would give him enough charges that he wouldn't throw a special 1. Turns out he was going to get pushed to special 2 anyways. But you guys have seen this fight a bunch of times. I actually took it 5 times last season alone. And then here I think I'm going to hit him with a special 1. I think he's going to throw his L1 right here, because he has to be at 16 charges for him to not throw it, not 15. So I think, yeah, we time our special 1 here so that it leaves him under 20, so that I can hit this dash back light intercept after a special. And then at this point, when he's at 9% health, I don't need to remove protection again. I can just combo into Striker into combo, theoretically into special, but I did not need to here. He just went down. And yeah, very clean fight. I did throw on an invul for that fight, because theoretically, if I were to get hit in the second life, it would hurt a lot. But I now have a few Chee'Ilth fights, which is pretty cool. We are going over to path 1 here. We are taking this Werewolf, and while Hood could have done this, Chi is the better answer. The game took a little bit to load going into this one. But Werewolf here doesn't really do anything. He kind of interacts with the nodes. If you let him get his regen up and howl a bunch of times, then yeah, he's going to go unblockable eventually. But don't really care about that too much. Here, he actually hit us with a bunch of light hits into my block at the start, so we didn't get ruptures. Had we been ruptured, the plan was to just let the cleanses take care of it and just block mediums anyways and not really care about it. But didn't have to end up doing that. He is going to throw his L2 right here. I prefer to push him to his L2 because, one, I'm more consistent at dexing it. I get clipped by the L1 more often. And also because I find that compared to the L1, I don't get pushed back nearly as far. So yeah, just going to spam special 1. This fight's going to go down very easily. There, that was weird. I decked the first hit of the medium and parried the second. But yeah, just got to get Wolf to throw the L2. He threw it right there. MD is actually helping us quite a bit by helping us push to L2. But the fight does go down right there, even though it's an R4 Wolf in just over a minute. And now we have a fight that I was a little bit worried about, but it turns out this is just going to be an absolute joke. Chee'Ilth versus Modok on Buffet. And the reason this is going to be so easy is because we're just going to be able to completely shut down the regen using Despair. So I'm just going to stack up a bunch of bleeds. I did some duels before to make sure that I knew the heavy counter heavy timing. And when I was discussing the plan for this fight, I was thinking about just heavy counter heavying the entire fight and never hitting parries. But I was talking with someone and they actually convinced me that it might be a little bit better if I just go for parry heavy, because I'm obviously going to have enough debuffs to deal with the regen anyways. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. There are a few times in this fight where I'm going to do, where I'm going to bait a heavy and then do the light counter, as you will see. I don't know when, but at some point. And as you can see, I do have enough enough bleeds that I'm going to take care of the regen completely. You're going to want to bait special 1, and there when you do get clipped, or not clipped, when you do get auto-blocked, the whole reason we're sending Chee'Ilth here is that she just shrugs it anyways. Like, she can just, I could have hit into him right there, triggered the auto-block, but I think we're going to go for another heavy, and yeah, he just dies there from the burst from Deep Wounds. So that was cool. And now we'll go into our minis. I have 2 minis this war, and the first one is going to be the brand new champion, Solvarch. It might be Solvarch, but I think it's Solvarch. And he is going to be on node 41. And luckily, his L1 is not that annoying. It did take quite a bit of practice in the EQ to get it down, but I got it down while I was exploring EQ, and then in preparation for this fight, like 10 minutes before I did any of these fights, I did go back in and I fought him a couple times just to get the L1 dex down. But we're going to miss it a bunch in this fight. I'm going to get clipped by the L1 probably 4 or 5 times. But the truth is, Angela's just the GOAT. Angela's the GOAT. She doesn't take damage, and yeah, she's just such a beast. There, we somehow get the first hit to clip, the first hit to clip him, and then the second one whiffs because of the root. I thought I held the attack long enough, but clearly I did not. And yeah, now we're getting rooted for the second time. I didn't know what his heavy was, so I got clipped there again. You want to not push Solvarch to the special 2, and that's extremely important, especially on a node like this, because not only is it going to do a lot of damage to you, it's also going to inflict a lot of the block charges on you. And that's just not something you want. So there we got rooted again, because I forgot that the striker hits do not restart the timer for the root. It's only basics and specials. I assume counterpunch probably would too, because it's coded as a light attack. But yeah, we're going to do a pretty good job with the L1s in this fight, and you can see that when we do crit, we are going to crit pretty hard, which is really nice. Like, look at that combo right there. We just had 3 hits in a row that were like 25k. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, a lot of the times on the map, Angela's just going to be the best option for, or, okay, I shouldn't say the best option. Obviously, someone like Gallon would have been faster for a fight like this, but my Angela's rank 4, so seems like the obvious choice. I didn't plan this war, by the way. I was not here during the planning process whatsoever. The other officer luckily did that, which was really nice. But I did plan the majority of War 2, and then I had to leave right at the end. So, yeah, this fight's about to go down, and as you can see, I'm still very healthy because despite all those hits we took with Angela, she's very tanky, and she also has regeneration, which is amazing because we did regenerate a bit in that fight. So now we'll go to the next one. This is going to be the Red Skull. I've already shown this fight a bunch of times, but this one is how you're supposed to play it. So I'm going to show you this once, and then for the rest of the season, I'm going to speed through this fight because the chances are... Not that chances are, because chances are I'm going to have to do this fight 10 times throughout the season. Maybe like 8, 9, 10 times, something like that. And yeah, this one goes really well. I'm pretty sure this was only a rank 3 Red Skull, but you can clearly see that that did not end up mattering whatsoever. And had this been a rank 4, the result would not have been any different. Of course, there is the fact that, and there I landed a reberry by accident, and it triggered the stun. Excuse me, I had a yawn. There is the fact that, unfortunately, the way that the Deep Wounds Mastery interacts with champions that reduce the duration of debuffs is that you will not be able to reduce it to 0. You can only reduce it to the minimum increase as stated by the level of deep wounds that the player is running. So that's why I'm going for a lot of heavies and less basic attacks in this fight, because as you can see there, I already had 3 buffs, but the bleed duration is going to be like, I think it's half a second. I'm not 100% sure. And I believe in this fight we're just going to be throwing special 1s or special 2s depending on just kind of what makes sense in the moment. So here we're going to go for special 2 because we just get pushed there anyways, and this is going to set us up for a few heavy counter special 1s. The timing's pretty nice on the special 1, it's just that you have to block the second hit in order to be close enough to land the heavy. But this fight's going relatively fast. If this was happening in a really, really important war and this was the last fight, I would probably turn on suicides just for this to make it like 30 seconds faster. Especially on a champion as suicide friendly as Angela. But yeah, as you can see, it's going down. I don't really have much to say about the rest of the fight, but this one was just really clean and I was very happy with how it went. Even with all of Red Skull's crit resist, your heavy attacks still crit very often because of what a massive critical rating boost that your heavies get. And here I thought this L1 would kill, but it's not going to kill, so we're going to have to bait this. And if you were wondering, when you have 3 buffs, you can just combo him after specials. You just get more damage out of heavying, so that's the reason I do that. It's not because of his auto block. You completely shut down his auto block with Angela. So that was it for my main. Let's get into my alt, and we're going to be starting out on path 2 here against this Apocalypse. This is a rank 4 Apocalypse, and he's actually going to be pretty beefy. This fight is going to take quite a while. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to bring Strife this war because there was one fight I was taking that, while Tud technically could have taken, it would have been a little bit sketchy. You know what? In hindsight, if I had to go back and redo this war, I probably would have just used Hood for it. But it just, I don't know. The counter I brought was a much harder counter to the fight for sure. So yeah, unfortunately, the first time I tried to activate my invisibility in this fight, he did throw a special attack, put a neutralize on me, so I couldn't. But for the rest of the fight, we're just going to be spamming special 2. There I go for a heavy, get him down to half health. Now we want to bait out the L2. The L2 dex is super easy. It's much easier than the L1. Although I can do both rather consistently if I need to. We did fail to neutralize, by the way, on that special 2, which is why we were not neutralized at any point there. And that was just the Fate Seal, 65% chance to fail it. So, I mean, statistically, it shouldn't trigger that often. And this fight's going to go down. I believe we're going to choose to bait the L2 there. Yeah, because I didn't get a Power Steal. I didn't feel like risking everything on a second medium attack. And actually that lined up perfectly because it allowed my invisibility to expire to get back an extra 5 bullets right before he died. So now we'll go into Ebony Maw here, and this is on the power gain node, and this is actually going to interact with Ebony Maw, both with his power steal if you eat a heavy attack, and additionally with Mystic Dispersion. So what we want to be doing in this fight is we want to be spamming Special 2 and not letting those charges build up. However, another unfortunate thing about this matchup is that since Hood's power steal is power gain, you're unfortunately going to get less. So the power that you take from Maw is affected by the amount that he lowers it from having focus on cooldown. So like right now with focus on cooldown, I have a much lower power, what's it called? Power gain rate? I think that's what it's called. And we're actually almost gonna let him get to the falter. We got him to 19 charges, and I think we're gonna heavy right here. No, okay, there we heavy, and we actually kill him right before we get the 20th charge. We wouldn't have died because we just would have faltered that heavy, and then we would have consumed our first hit of miss on the first hit of the L2 and then blocked the rest. But yeah, it was fine. Now we'll go over to my one and only Valk fight. It's going to be this JJ, and this is on the power gain node where you want to alternate hits. Force of Will, the way that Force of Will interacts with Fate Seal is that Fate Seal won't fail effects, but it'll still prevent buffs. So you can still use Hood here. Yeah, I could have used Hood. I don't know why I didn't realize that I could have used Hood. I think the officer that was planning it just went for the safe call. But I don't know why I didn't realize that, because I definitely should have. Also, in this fight, I'm going to completely ignore the Intensify, and I'm just going to give her hella charges because I really don't care. I'm very confident in this fight, and if I have to push JJ to a couple special 2s, I'm going to do that. So here we're going to push a special 2. She is very special happy in this fight, which was very nice. Here we're going to revert our combo and then go for an L2 to get our third and final Bulwark. So now our Fury potency when we throw our L2 is going to be maximum. Right there, I had the opportunity to throw a Striker into the block and then continue it into a combo. I don't know why I didn't, because that would have definitely sped the fight up quite a bit. But I think we're going to save and do that right here. Yeah, we wanted to bait out one more special 1 before going for this L2, just so the power gain never becomes an issue. And here she does go down with the combo. So very nice, very clean Valkyrie fight. And now this is what I would call the only bad fight of the war. I'm going to make one mistake in this fight, and it's going to cost me the majority of my health. This is Gladiator. I didn't even notice until right now that I didn't even heal going into this fight. I go in with 86%. I start with a light? Bro, I clearly do not remember this fight very well. I don't remember doing that. That's actually insane. My confidence at this point must have just been through the roof. And yeah, here's the first L2. We do that one correctly. It's the second one that we're going to mess up. So I think here yeah, right here. And I don't even know what happened. I think that I tried to dex it, but I was slightly late. So I blocked the first hit, and that buffered my dex input. Like, I'm only speculating, but that's what I believe probably happened. And we got Incinerates on us, and we are going to lose the majority of our health because they take hard and they take long. At this point, we just need to bait one more, or sorry, we need to throw one more special 2, hit him with a heavy, and he is going to go down. So we are going to survive, but that is going to cost us a nice 4 or 5 potions to start off the season to a joke fight for absolutely no reason. Just wonderful. Yeah, 5 potions. I mean, it does get us up to full health, though, so I'm not going to complain. And now we have 3 minis with Hood, and the first one here is going to be Deathless Thanos on node 38. This is a pretty normal placement. I've seen this quite a few times, but Hood is just an absolute monster and counters Thanos very well, allowing him to skip 2 of the 4 protection phases on Thanos by just detonating at the right time, which I don't even remember if I do correctly in this fight, but I normally do it correctly. Anyways, you just don't want to get hit by specials here. Aggression prowess is really the only thing that's going to mess you up. You want to obviously watch out for the unstoppable charges, because you are going to get panic on you if you trigger an unstoppable, and then Hood's not going to be able to miss. But other than that, nothing crazy going on. We're going to wait out our invisibility right here. And I think we're gonna, yeah, we're just gonna throw it because I saw the first unstoppable was about to expire, which means I was able to throw it. I know how many hits Hood Special 2 is. It's 5 hits, which means as long as there's 10 charges left to give, then I'm good. Here I could have heavy countered heavy and just gone immediately to the second phase, but I did not. Here we're gonna heavy. There we go. Or rather finish the second phase. I don't know why I said straight to the second phase. Gonna throw this L2. I think right here is where the bug happens. There is a bug that's gonna happen in this fight, and I think it's right. No, it's not here. It must be the next one. Oh yeah, there I couldn't counter because unstoppable charges. So now at this point we just need to get to 25%, and then a heavy attack is going to kill. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I'm gonna activate my invisibility, right? I have missed 1 hit. Now I've thrown the L2, I've missed 0 hits. Oh, that's what it was. Oh my god, I'm actually so dumb. Okay, in the moment when I was doing this fight, it did not occur to me that I had consumed my misses by dexing. I thought I still had all my misses, and I thought that... Oh, wow, okay. Okay, never mind. I was going to say that's a bug with Hood. There is a bug with Hood where sometimes when you haven't consumed all your misses, your miss will just fail and you'll eat the hit instead. And in the moment when I was doing the fight, that's what I thought it was. But after watching it back for the first time here, I can see that the dex clearly consumes all of my guaranteed misses. So, yeah. Gorr. Gorr on Mixmaster. This is like the easiest Hood fight of all time. Hood is just such an insanely hard counter for Gorr that you really have to place him somewhere that Hood cannot take it. This just ain't that. I would say Hood's definitely the best option for this fight. Maybe actually Morningstar, if she was a 7-star, would do this fight a little bit faster. Longshot would probably do it a little bit faster as well. But as far as safety goes, for a fight like this, you can't really get better than Hood. Nico would do a really good job here as well. That's a good one. But yeah, very easy fights. Ended with almost max bullets. Full health. Very, very simple. So now we are going to go to our final fight of the war. And when the war started and I checked, I saw this fight and I instantly knew I was getting assigned it. Like, it was begging to be hooded, quite literally. And I think this fight's actually going to be a little bit longer than I first expected it to be. But this is going to be Mordo on Node 47. Honestly, I didn't even know Mordo was a 7-star. I don't think I've seen him placed on defense once. And we are actually going to make one mistake in this fight where I'm going to accidentally parry and hit him because I was not paying attention. So that's fun. But Hood shuts down everything going on in the fight and everything Mordo does in his base kit. So there's quite literally nothing you have to worry about here. That's when the evade triggers, but because I was invisible, I was able to miss the hits. And yeah, we're just going to keep cycling L2s. Get a little bit of power back from our power back boosts, but we didn't have power steal there, and I knew it. There I could have heavy countered that L2. Would have done a bunch of damage, but I guess I chose not to. I'm going to go for this L2, and then I think we're going to be ready to detonate. There we go. And the fight goes down. Full health. last fight of the war, that is going to be it. And we did win this war. We won with a score of 9-57. We were actually doing much, much better at the beginning of the war, and we cleared our first 75 fights with only 1 death. And then we died 8 times in the back half of the war. But it was shaping up to be a really good war at one point. So that is going to be all. We did win this war, so we are now 1-0 on the season. I have 0 deaths total. My PSR is 13 out of 13 or 100%, with 6 of those being on my main and 7 being on my alt. I have an active Deathless streak of 38 fights, with a streak of 53 on my main and 20 on my alt. And that's going to be all. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.